Warning, this content is for entertainment and educational purposes only. What's up, everybody?
Good morning.
What's happening?
How's it going, everyone?
Well,
Hey, Dave, how are you doing?
My dyslexic ass had this set to 11 p.m., not to 11 a.m. I can't tell you how many times I sent out emails with the wrong dates and times on it, and then Dave's like, yo, Paul. He's like, I think you typoed this. And I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah, your signature.
This is what happens when you have ADHD and dyslexia all wrapped up into one nice, neat little package. I get ahead of myself and my estrogen's low.
That's why I use military time always.
Folks, before we get rolling, I have the sale going on for Christmas holidays, 20% off the Anabolics e-course and the PED cheat sheet, which is 30 pages long. It's only $30 and you get 20% off of it, even more. So it's only like $20, $24, something like that. Great deal. Yeah, so it's I tried to take everything that's in the e-course and put the Cliff Notes version of it into a cheat sheet for people. So it's the PED profiles, cycles, how I structure my cycles, cycle phases, different compounds, everything in there. It's nice, neat, simple, easy. Anyway, what's going on, guys?
Not much. Jackie's been on the hunt for drones the past 2 weeks and aliens. And got a
I wish Kurt was on. He sent me a video of one he took of it in outside of his house. It was pretty fucking huge. What's up,
What's going on, everybody?
Joel.
Joel's here to teach us how to eat 3 dinners on Christmas.
Yeah,
I could teach you that. Let's be honest. How's everybody doing today?
Good.
outstanding.
For the guys that don't know, Joel is Model versus Food on YouTube. He is a competitive, I guess, eater. Joel eats the ungodly amounts of food and is super in shape. I don't know how he does it.
Mm-hmm.
I do eat a little bit. I eat every day. In fact, I've been eating since the day I was born, believe it or not, but yeah, sometimes they get a little excessive, only on camera though.
How do you stay so thin, man?
Too much dieting, too much not eating.
Do you like when you're getting ready for one of these big eating events, do you fast before you do this, or how do you get yourself ready?
Yeah, you could say inadvertently it's like intermittent fasting, but I think it's long story short, I don't think it's good for the overall metabolism. We'll put it that way. But yeah, no, and another thing too is like people think that I eat like that constantly, and it's really not. It's like a short period of time, and then it's a lot. Like I haven't done. Now it's partly because of an injury, but I haven't done like a food challenge or a video in like 2 months. So time on, time off.
I don't know how you. Even if I tried, I don't think I could eat all this.
Yeah,
it's like if you want to run a marathon, like you got to train for it. You know what I mean? Like no one just popped out the womb being able to run however many miles. At least I'm assuming. You gotta train for it, and just like a muscle. I couldn't do the splits. The splits. But if I probably took enough time to stretch those hip muscles out, I probably could. Stomach's a muscle. You can stretch a muscle.
Yeah. That's great.
This is crazy, man.
I know.
Yeah.
And I think it's tough when I get a jaw pump just from like having meal 4 in my day.
Yeah.
I do not know what a jaw pump would feel like. I'll put it that way. I've chewed for 90 plus minutes on a rubberish meat, and my jaw is just conditioned.
You clearly haven't taken D-ball.
Definitely not.
Joel's great. He's really humble, nice guy. We had a lot of conversations. in Vegas. So I invited him to the Sunday dinner. Like a lot of us went out to the Eiffel Tower restaurant in Vegas on Sunday, and I invited him out there, but he had plans. And his response to me was like, well, I'm going to a dinner at like 5:30. What time is your dinner? Maybe I can make it. And at first, your initial response is, who's going to eat 2 dinners in one night? And then I was like, oh, wait, yeah. After thinking about his YouTube videos, I was like, this guy could definitely eat two meals in one night.
Oh, yeah. Joel, I was so impressed with your eating challenge that you did in Denver. Like, now that I finally know why you were here, I mean, what an incredible thing to do that for charity. And the donut that you made at the end looked absolutely epic. My assistant is now a huge fan of desert donuts, but now I'm a fan also just because that's so cool that they did that. I mean, just awesome. Like, huge thank you to you for doing that for our community.
Hey, I'm happy to give back. So it was a great excuse to come to Denver and Colorado again. That was I was only there once briefly prior to it, so I've been pretty much trying to go to all the states, kind of cross them all off the list. So it was a great kind of excuse to come back, and yeah, it's a pretty cool place. Should you try that Joel donut, it is pure diabetes, but it was the most insane tasting thing ever. Definitely not calorie free, but yeah, no, it was definitely it was an experience. But yeah, it's a pretty cool place, and yeah, and Denver is beautiful. Holy jumps, the mountains and everything. Well, we talked about that. It's just like
yeah.
Was
it pretty lucky?
And Ryan, thank you for the kind words, Ryan. I appreciate that as well. That was it is true. I can eat a few dinners. Yeah, that's the one there. Yeah.
Oh, those look gorgeous.
Great.
Now that I might be able to mass eat.
Right.
I can put down some dessert.
Well, the one that they did with the donut and then like the green chili on top, like that also looked delicious.
Holy crap! More. How many of these did you eat?
Well, I had multiple rounds of donuts, then there was some milkshakes and some pies and some like those milkshakes I think weighed about 3 pounds each. They actually weigh the ice cream and milk out for them. That's how they so they don't do like scoops, they actually weigh it out. Oh, wow. Yeah, it was excessive. There's the little pies which are made with a donut crust.
We need to get Joel a CGM and see what's going on while he's eating all this.
Yeah, I always say it'd be funny to like have a live kind of ultrasound and just see the expansion of the gut or like the stomach, and then that's the donut that I made at the end. It was like I don't even remember what was on it. Cookie crisp and pretzels and maple and.
Well, then you got all those side sauces too.
Yeah.
He brings those out soon, like all the containers of like the espresso and the peanut butter and the caramel, or maple. Maybe a side of maple.
It's a little excessive.
I would need about 200 units of Humalog to deal with all this.
Probably a full pen of Lantus and then a full pen of Humalog. Yeah, 100 units.
Oh my god!
I think was it last week or maybe the week before we were talking about you, Joel. Weren't we talking about whether or not he possibly might have leptin resistance or something? Do you think? I mean, do you get so full, or do you just don't feel full when you're eating all this?
No, that's a good question. I caught that. I think it was like last week or whatever. Mm-hmm. So no, definitely. I mean, the thing is, this sounds really funny, and you'll never hear anybody else explain or be able to explain this way, I don't think. But within, let's say, the realm of competitive eating, there is like, I'm full, as in like hunger signaling, and there is I'm full, as in my abdomen, and is actually about to rip.
Yeah. Right.
Like literal physically full, like you become a pregnant woman. So, I mean, I definitely feel full. Actually, it's funny of recent, because like I said, I've had considerable time off and just been increasing my calories and trying to gain some of my muscle back and stuff of recent. So I've been quite like back to like more frequent meals and kind of identifying like what actually makes me feel full.
Mhm.
And it's funny. So I like in a normal meal, 2 pounds I'm good, up to 3 pounds I'm good, but any more than that I start to feel uncomfortable. But then again, like if I'm being honest, for dinner tonight I also added that up today. Now my calorie choices are usually very non-calorically dense, but I was gone most of the day, and so by the time I got back and ate, I mean I ate 7 pounds of food for dinner.
Oh wow!
Holy crap!
Yeah, which don't get me wrong, like I felt like it was like too much, but
Wow.
It's
That's
the
insane.
truth of it. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, you know, to somebody, you know, let's say like Paul, you know, he lifts X, or, you know, any of you guys, Ryan, you know, Dave, Amy, you know, to maybe walk into the gym and, you know, lift 400 pounds of some lift is like meh. But then to like, you got to think to like the average person, that's like 3, 4, 2, 3 times their body weight. They could never do that. You know what I mean? So
Well, I'm just thinking like a gallon of water is 8 pounds, and that's like that can fit very well because it's malleable. Where the food's just going to expand. I couldn't imagine 7 pounds of just sitting in my stomach.
Hey, we had Chase up in here.
Do you
Hello.
weigh yourself like on a daily
What's up,
basis
Chase?
to like see fluctuations in your weight?
Yeah, I mean, between like the start of day and end day, I'll go up easily 10 pounds. But I don't know if that's that abnormal. Like,
I mean,
just
I do
water
too.
your food. Yeah.
But like, how long after one of those like giant meals does it take for your weight to rebalance?
Oh, it really depends what it is.
I mean, I
Yeah,
would assume like the fattier, like saltier things maybe stick around a little longer.
You know, I think like the worst is generally anything just like a lot of meat.
Mm.
Because like the one time there was a horrid experience, to be honest. Might sound like a dream, but there's this time I think it was like, geez, I don't know. Say it was like a 13, 14 pound prime rib meal, basically. And just that much meat, I literally felt it in my stomach for probably like 2 to 3 days.
Oh man.
Oh yeah, it would take that long probably to digest it.
Yeah, it was
That's a
horrid.
lot.
Yeah, would not recommend. Put it that way.
Now, have you ever been stuck doing a food challenge that like the food looked good and then you started and you're like, I'm not liking this. You know, I got 7 pounds of food I don't want to eat now.
All the time, to be honest, 99.9% of the time, I don't want to eat the foods anyway. Like, I don't enjoy pizza. I don't enjoy pasta. I don't enjoy fried foods. You know what I mean? And there's foods, and especially I don't like cheese at all. I have to eat all the time. You know what I mean? Like at that point, it's a job. You know, it's a job. So yeah.
Everybody's curious what your poops look like, Joel.
I mean, most of the time they look probably like the average person's bowel movement, but there's been times some things have come out the way they came in, and I can't describe that one, so I would not recommend. It's called dumping syndrome. So yeah.
That is intense. I actually had a really bad food injury this week that was pretty awful. I was making, it was my low carb day. So I finally get some carbs in my last meal. So I was making this big bowl of oatmeal, and I blend my oats so they're like a porridge consistency. So they're really sticky. So I'd taken it out of the microwave and like whisked it up with a fork. And I don't know what I was thinking, because this was literally boiling porridge oatmeal. And I stuck that fork directly on my tongue. It felt like I was being branded, like, because all the fork tines and then the sticky oatmeal, I'm like, and just that second, you're like, oh my God, what have I done? Like, and then I like had to eat that oatmeal because I'd already cooked it and I hadn't had carbs all day. So I'm like, the next day I woke up, I'm like, oh no, I still am off oats. This was on Thursday. I'm like, I haven't eaten oatmeal since. Like, it makes me nauseous to even think about it, because my tongue is still like, it literally felt like somebody had stuck a brand on my tongue. It was awful.
That's the worst.
The burning is like
food injury.
The burning like the roof of the mouth and the tongue can be the worst. I mean, I burn my the crazy thing and the unfortunate thing, like Okay, so first off, I'll say no one should ever try to eat competitively. It's a horrible endeavor. Don't go in it. It's not healthy. And just don't do it. You know what I mean? Like, I would never advise somebody to eat excess food, and especially to train yourself to like be such a mind over matter when it comes to food, because you learn habits of things like, I can start eating something burning hot, like that, Amy, but like I'll like still want to keep eating it. And so there's times I'm just like, I mean, even if I rub the roof of my mouth, I think it's probably constantly slightly burned at least. So, yeah, just don't do it, everybody.
How do you find the challenges, or do they find you? Like, I mean, some of these things are so off the wall.
It's a matter of I have a booking agent that helps. Sometimes I find them. Sometimes people send me them. Sometimes places reach out. Of course, that's like developed along my progression. Like, you know, obviously when I first started doing it, it was a lot of me just going out there. You know, since then, with the accumulation of growth through the channels and means, yeah, it can just a few endeavors. How's that? You know what I mean? Comes a few ways. So, yeah.
I need to learn how to eat more for bodybuilding. I never want to eat.
Anytime you want to talk, I can tell you. So.
It makes me think what's worse, like us as bodybuilders having like 6 meals a day when you don't even want the first one, and it's just like consistently a little more food than you need, or having one bolus giant pile of food at the end of the day, you know?
Yeah.
Neither sounds fun.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of funny. I mean, I guess it probably comes down to like how it's moving through you. Like, if you eat your first meal, let's say it's a bit too large, you feel a little uncomfortable, but by meal 2 or 3 you feel like pretty empty, then I would say that's like not that bad. What's worse is like is if you're like, it's just stacking on top and top and top of each other. You know what I mean? So
we can relate to that.
That'd be my thought of it, but and then I'll just mention real quick, going to your, so this is like the in-depth. Like I never do interviews and podcasts just because I don't ever talk about this stuff. It's not safe. It's not good to talk to most people, but or about this. So again, advisory, don't do any of this, people. But to your question or point, Dave. So it's funny, you can actually kind of use a metric of like how much liquid you can put in your stomach to how much food and or mass you can put in your stomach. So I mean, by weight, right, which you like, think about a gallon of water is like 8.8 pounds if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
so let's just say 8 pounds. So by weight, some of the most like whatever I've eaten in one sitting is like 20 some pounds of ice cream.
Holy fuck.
Which you have to, which again, it's more of like the liquid, so it's malleable. Again, I couldn't eat 20 pounds of steak, but you know, that's like 2.5 gallons. You know what I mean? To give like perspective.
Wow.
So,
all that fat though, I mean, like that's the difference. Like it's gonna just sit there. How I feel like I would never be warm again. Like if I ate that much ice cream in one sitting, I think I'd like freeze to death.
Anytime I've eaten ice cream, like excessive, you can actually take your hand, put it on my stomach, and it feels like a refrigerator.
Yeah.
Because it's so cold, it's permeating through me. And I mean, you want to just talk about feeling like death?
That happens to me on prep. Like if drinking cold liquid, like I can feel the cold through my skin.
Would not recommend.
Ryan says you should, this guy, Ryan Parsons, says Joel should come down to San Jose and do the Iguanas Burrito Challenge. Joey Chestnut ate a 5-pound burrito in like 3 minutes when he was here.
I did it years ago.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. I'll be honest, I've done like, I love people and I love their suggestions. But at this point, I mean, I've eaten like probably 800 food challenges, so I've done a few of them. To be honest, so, yeah.
Oh, I can handle that. There's no problem.
That one. The funny thing is, like, I can like look at that and be like, that one's I think from a place called like Tacos and Beers or something. Yeah, I did that years ago. So.
Yeah, what's your daily like metformin and Orlistat stack look like?
Yeah, to be honest, probably should be a lot more than whatever, right? But no, I've never used metformin. Really, I mean, there's times where I've had some Orlistat, but the funny thing is, I don't know if it just doesn't work, or like I've never gotten like people report like fatty stool and XYZ. I'll be honest, I think Orlistat honestly only works if you have like a small meal.
Yeah.
Like if you eat it with a lot of food, I honestly don't think it does anything. I think it truly renders it completely useless.
Yeah.
Well, I think you'd have to titrate the dose up to handle the amount of fat. Like there's probably like you said, a correlation there between the size of the meal and the size of the dose of the Orlistat.
And that's like such a great question, and I would love some pharmaceutical representative to be able to answer that, because if you read the advisories, it's like taking more than 120 milligrams will not equate to greater whatever. I don't know.
I would imagine if you're taking it with that big of a meal, it might not even get absorbed anyway.
Honestly, that's what I think, Paul. I think it's completely useless unless it's like a pound meal, to be honest.
Just a 1 pound meal.
Yeah. See, that's a funny thing there, Chase, because I was listening to somebody. Who was it? His name's slipping my mind. But anyway, he was like, it was a bodybuilder, pro bodybuilder. Man, he's a great guy. I forget his name. Dr. Todd, whatever. Todd.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Todd. And he was like talking how food was the limiting factor, and he's like, I cannot eat more than like 500 grams in one sitting. And I'm like,
doing the math.
Really? I'm like, 500 grams, man. I eat that by accident. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was pretty funny.
Well, what's funny too is like I feel like my stomach gets used to the same size meal. Like, I'm eating a lot throughout the day, but I'm not like varying from like a 2 pound meal to a 3 pound meal. Like they're very portioned throughout the day. So when you do have a cheat meal or you overeat, like you feel that extra 30% of food or whatever it might be,
I'm trying to think like my like top end meal that I probably around 500 grams is about where so that would be around 300 grams of rice and 200 grams of meat. I mean, that's a big meal for me.
Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah. Like I said, it's
maybe you should be a bodybuilder, Joel.
Hey, I mean, I could eat for it. Of recent, like I said, I've been kind of eating a little bit more of the slightly more bodybuilding, whatever. And like I said, to get like my calories in or whatever. Again, I'm choosing like all the foods you shouldn't do. They're all high fiber, whatever, just because I love them. But like I said, about 2-3 pounds for a meal, I'm okay. Anything more than that, I start to feel not good. So
I said that's probably about how I am. Yeah, 2,000 to 1,500 grams is usually what I do.
Chase can eat then.
I mean, it was like I was just trying to think. Like, what did I have last night? I had like 1.5 pounds of meat. I had a whole pepper, a whole zucchini.
Yeah.
An avocado, rice.
Yeah, I mean,
probably about 1,500. Yeah,
at least. Yeah, probably. Yeah, at least. Yeah.
I think in my fat guy days, I would like my records was eating a whole large pizza and finishing it off with a pint of Ben and Jerry's. That's what I was doing when I was in my fat boy days. But that was once in a day, or every once in a while I would eat a foot-long sub, something like that. But that's about it for me.
Once in a day and once in a while is a lot big difference.
Yes.
If it's once in a day of one pizza and one pint or half a pint of Ben and Jerry's, I give it to you, man. That's some good metabolism right there. So
I was pretty fat then. I do like some McDoubles. It's funny though. It's like different things go down easier. Like I could eat some trash food, no problem. But chicken and rice, it's hard to get down.
Yeah.
Somebody's asking if you use Ghrelin agonists, but to allow you to be hungry. But it doesn't seem like it's a function of being hungry. It's more a function of mind over matter. I mean, there's a condition called Willie Prater syndrome where you're always hungry, but I don't think that's your case either, right? You're not always hungry, right?
No, not at all. If anything, I'm more often chronically not hungry.
Oh, okay.
Because you have to dissociate yourself so much from the feelings of hunger to be able to do it.
It's
just like, again, if you're like an extreme marathon runner, you know, after 5 or 10, let's say 5 miles, I'm sure you're like, all right, this is great and all, but like I could really stop now and I'd be fine. I don't want to run this another 20 miles. No, it's very much like I'm definitely not always hungry by any means. It's definitely mind over matter, and it's what you get used to. You know, like you can get your body used to it, just like, you know, Dave or, you know, is used to, and Paul are used to eating 500 grams of food at max or whatever. Chase is used to eating 1,500. It's like if you know, just like you can get used to, like, you know, fasting. You know, if you get intermittent fasting, used to eating once a day. You know, even that's like a dissociation of hunger. Do you know what I mean? Like, so it's kind of like taking that just to the extremes.
Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah, it'd be really interesting because I've never taken, you know, I'm not a PED guy, but it'd be really interesting to see what would happen if I did take something that was like a ghrelin agonist or really did like increase hunger. Yeah. Because I don't know if it would just, I don't know if it would work overly well. Like, I don't know. I don't. So.
It's really interesting. That's a great explanation, though. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Great question.
I mean, I guess MK677 is really the only thing that we have as far as increasing hunger that's effective.
You got like GHRP6.
Yeah, GHRP6 would work too.
I never noticed that it did shit. I didn't feel any increase in hunger when I took it.
Yeah, MK is strong, like, for sure.
Yeah, MK, I definitely noticed the increase in hunger when I take it.
Yeah.
I would take GHRP6, and it's like within 5 minutes, you're just starving. Like, I just want to eat anything.
It's like, yeah, man, good or bad. It depends where you are in life.
Well, it helps me get over when I used to take like Anadrol, and you get the appetite suppression from that. I would take the Ghrelin agonist so I could eat. Otherwise, I just wouldn't eat.
Oh, yeah, man, Anadrol's the worst for nuking your stomach, man. I do not want to eat. That's the problem with it. Everybody wants to run it in the off season, and it is great for strength, but it's like when you take it, then it's like, nope, don't want to eat.
Yeah. And a lot of the orals can do that too, like stanozolol, even Oxandrol and
Really, the only oral that doesn't wreck my appetite is Anavar.
Yeah. Yeah, high doses of Winstrol will knock my appetite down pretty good.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, Winstrol definitely nukes your appetite.
Yeah.
You don't want to eat at all on a Winstrol.
Out of curiosity, how long does that appetite suppression work for you, Paul? Like, you take Anadrol, you know, I notice myself 4 or 5 hours later, I'm fine.
Not for me, man. I like it. It can take me days to get straight afterwards.
I just wondered if taking it at night. I know we like taking it pre-workout, you know, for the strength and the, you know, the performance output, but, you know, taking it overnight and getting the anabolism out of it and not dealing with the hunger suppression.
Potentially,
maybe.
I don't know. I start getting acid reflux and
that too. Yeah.
I just like, it doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, Anavar seems to be the best bang for the buck. Yeah, as far as orals go, I like Anavar the best. But I don't know. Eating the same shit over and over and over too. I think some of it's psychological and bodybuilding. Like, it's just like after a while eating chicken and rice and steak and rice, you're just like, fuck, I'm doing this again.
For sure.
And I've noticed, like, when I season and put other stuff in it, that makes it even worse. Like, it like upsets my stomach. So, and I want to even eat even less then.
Interesting. I was gonna say, like, spice it up a little bit, add something to it.
No, it makes worse for me, man. I get indigestion and then I don't want to eat.
Are you good with the McDoubles?
Oh yeah, I can hammer some McDoubles. I can probably eat 20 McDoubles. That McDonald's goes down easy.
I see a challenge here, Joel. We'll have a McDouble challenge between you and Paul.
I don't think I could.
Yeah, we can do it at the Arnold booth. Yeah. We'll have McDonald's catering. and just get 100 McDoubles in, and
We just
I'm
have
gonna need
crates of McDoubles.
everybody can just grab them as they stop by.
I'm going to need some McDoubles, man. I'm down 10 pounds after this finger infection.
Mm.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
is that going on?
What's it look like?
It's finally, well, it's wrapped up, but it's finally recovering. It's healing up. I showed Amy a picture last night. She's been my wound consultant.
Yes. Yeah,
Does this
I
look
mean-
normal? Is this normal? Is this good?
Does this
You
look
like
good?
you pinched it, was it, or something in the gym?
Yeah, I banged it between two plates. It was about 3 weeks ago now, and ended up with a MRSA infection.
Shit.
Yeah, and I've been on 4 different antibiotics now. And then
Five.
I had
Five.
Yeah, 5. And then I had to go get my hand cut open by the surgeon to clean it all out. They went in and cleaned it all out, and all that from banging your finger.
That's
between
crazy.
Weights.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I had a guy DM me on Instagram, and he said he got a MRSA infection from a bad shot in his quad and had to have his fucking leg amputated.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he
Yeesh.
said he let it go for too long
No.
and ended up having to have his damn leg amputated. I'm like, holy
That's
shit.
crazy.
This is
No
the
thanks.
second time I've had MRSA, though.
Yeah. Well, athletes are more prone just because we, spend time in a kind of dirty, sweaty environment. So
Yeah.
it is one of the risk factors for getting MRSA is being an athlete. Like
And
if you
I'll
look,
be honest with you, I'm a filthy animal and I never wipe down the machines. I am now going to be a reformed, not wiping machines down guy. Although, who wipes down plates?
Yeah.
exactly. It's more about like washing your hands. Like I never leave the gym without washing my hands, like ever. Like, cause I don't want to touch any of my own things with gym hands. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so it's actually a staph. So it's a staph infection, just resistant staph.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that's on everything,
Mm-hmm.
like legit. Yeah. Wow. I mean, yeah, whatever.
oh yeah. Bacteria are pretty fascinating. Like and the things like soft tissue infections are no joke though. You really, there's never a downside to going to get a soft tissue thing checked out because as that person who DM Paul, I mean, if you let something go too long and that starts to spread or gets into the bone or gets into the blood, I mean,
Yeah.
there's no going back.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
surgeon, when I went back in for the follow-up at the end of the week, she's like, yeah, it looks a lot better. She goes, I was concerned about your finger on Monday when I worked on it. I didn't want to tell you, and I'm like concerned, like, and I might lose it. And she's like, yeah, that was a possibility. And I'm like, holy fuck, really? Was that close?
Do they have to give like injectable antibiotics or just oral?
No. I went to the ER and she said she was shocked that they didn't give me IV antibiotics at the. But there was a lot of blowing me off from the. I was 5-6 times at the doctor in a week and a half span of time. It just like kept getting worse, and I'm like, I don't think this is getting better.
I almost had my finger amputated. It was like
On purpose?
10 years ago. It was a pretty bad accident where I was my first injury in CrossFit. I was doing overhead squats and I was doing going for like a 5-rep max, and I had like 215 on the bar. So like you're holding the bar overhead and you're doing squats. And I was in like a public gym. It was not a CrossFit gym. It was like when I was first getting into all of it. And so like I would take it out of the squat rack, I would push it up, and I would walk to an open spot behind the squat rack, and I would knock out the reps, put it back on my back, and set it into the rack. And on the last set that I was going to do, I like push it up, and I forget to walk out of the rack. So I'm standing in the rack. My hands are overhead,
Oh no!
and I'm
I
doing
know
my
where this is going.
squats, and I'm getting tired, and it starts to wobble, and it starts to come down in front, and my hands are exactly as wide as the rack, and my arms come down. I try to stand up quick so I can like catch it, but my hand, this finger, which is not straight, it came down, and like so like I'm holding the bar, and this finger literally just like took the whole load like on the rack.
Ugh.
And as soon as it happened, it like hit, and then I was like, fuck. And so I'm like standing there, I'm like, son of a bitch, that burns. And it's just like my hand is just like on fire. And I'm just like standing there, and then I like look down at it, and there's just blood just like flying out of it. And I was like, oh shit. So then I just grab it, I grab it like this, and I'm like, And so I walk to the front, and I go to the front desk, and I'm like, I didn't know what to say, and I didn't want to like freak anybody out, but I've got blood coming down my hand. I'm like holding my hand, and I'm like, I smashed my finger pretty bad. I don't know. I don't know what. Like I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do. I was just in shock at that point. And they were like, "What are you talking about?" And they're like looking at me like, "What is going on?" And so then I'm just like, I show them. I'm like, I smashed my finger, and it was basically like disconnected like all the way around. And there's just like one flap of skin. And it was hanging, like it was just hanging off to the side, and the bone was like straight up. And I just show them like I smashed my finger, and they're like, "Oh my god!" And they were like, "I don't know, call an ambulance, fuck it." And so they like sit me down and put a washcloth on it, and just waited for them.
That's 911 time.
It was crazy, yeah. But when I got there, I'm like, they take me to a room, and I like sit there for probably 2 hours, and I'm just like dripping onto like a like napkin next to me, and somebody comes in, they look at it, they're like feeling it. I'm like, I can't feel any of that. And then I don't know, after a few people came and looked at it, one guy comes in, and he comes in with just like a needle, and he starts poking around on the tip of this thing, and I'm like, I can't feel any of that. And he was also looking to see if there was like any blood that was going to come out of it.
Yeah, the nerve was severed.
Yeah, everything was gone. And so he's going to walk out the door, and he stops at the door, and he turns around, and he's like, let me just try one more thing. And he comes back in, and he goes right to the tip of it, and he just starts pushing it straight into it. He's just like, just let me know if you feel anything at all. And he's just pushing in, and it probably went in like half an inch. And then I felt it. I was like, oh shit, okay, that hurt. And then when he pulled it out, some blood came out the tip, and he was like, oh good, we can try to save it. And otherwise they were just going to snip that little bit off, and that was going to be the end of it. And so, yeah, then they basically just like brought it back over, got everything as close together, and they just sewed it all the way around to there. I mean, I don't know if you can. It'll
You can see the
bump.
but yeah, there's like a scar all the way around, and then a spot where there's no stitches. But
do you have any feeling in it, or do you lose all your feeling?
No, yeah, it feels normal. Yeah, it's weird, but like the bones got like close enough together that they kind of like fused together and made like like a hard cartilage, but.
It's all the serostin.
Yeah.
I mean,
Nerve regeneration.
Nerve regeneration.
Like a starfish.
Right. Yeah, it's crazy.
I'm going to give everybody a graphic warning. This was my finger post-surgery. I did put it on social media.
I've got pictures of mine too. I should send you.
This was post-surgery.
Okay. Big hole.
Yeah, that was pretty gross. All that from banging my finger between weights.
It looks better than the one you sent me where it was still soaking wet. Your finger looked like
the big
goo.
blister.
Yeah,
that one was pretty gross too. I guess I could show that one.
Yeah,
man. There's like, you ever see like people get the cysts and stuff? They get infected, man. Like it's like that, like a crater. Before they clean it up, Paul's just full of garbage, right? Like, geez.
Yeah. Well, hang on. I'll show the pre-surgery pic. It was pretty fucking gross. I had some dude DM me on Instagram tell me I'm nasty. He's like, you shouldn't be sharing that stuff publicly. I'm
Well,
sorry.
they won't want to see mine. That's pretty.
I'm like, sorry, dude. Yeah, now I'm curious. I want to see yours.
Well, I was trying to log into my thing. I don't use this computer very often.
This was before they cut it open.
Yeah.
My
Almost like
phone.
a burn.
Yeah.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like when I go into the ER and I show them this, and I'm like, hey, something's wrong here.
I can't believe they turned you away. Like that's
I mean, that kind of bothers me too. That it took you so much to be able to actually get some treatment.
It's really strange. I think they're overwhelmed with so many people. I just told the last dude, I'm like, look, man, I don't like doctors. I don't like coming to doctors. I pretty much have to be on my deathbed to come to the doctor.
Yeah.
So I'm not fucking around here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sometimes that's the unfortunate thing. Like, I mean, sometimes healthcare, it's like you shouldn't have to fight.
Yeah.
If someone, I know they're like, oh, we don't. Some people just come in for anything or abuse the system or XYZ. But it's like, man, if you're in there like fighting to get care.
Mm-hmm.
Most people don't do that. Like I don't think. Like how many people are like, I'm gonna go do that. I'm really bored. I'm gonna go try to get some medical care at the hospital.
Yeah.
Josh said ER is useless for non-critical. Josh is a nurse, especially wounds.
I sent him to you, Paul.
Okay.
On Instagram.
So it always gets me nervous when I get like a bad, not a bad shot, but like a sore shot in my quad. I always get super nervous, thinking like, is this the time?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I had a MRSA infection from a shot. Holy shit, Chase!
Oh no!
All right, no.
Well, I can't believe like I didn't get an infection from that.
It literally the bone is hanging out of the end of it. Oh my god, man!
It was gnarly. I was like, what?
Oh yeah. Oh. I don't think I can show that on YouTube. It's way worse than mine. You win the battle of the gnarly finger. I bow down.
You have to change the settings of having explicit content.
Yeah.
It's literally a bone hanging out of the end of his finger.
I don't want to see that.
And the bone is busted.
Yeah, it's busted. It looks like somebody just took a hammer and just smashed it. Like it looks real bad.
Oh man. I can only imagine you were in shock when that happened.
Oh, it was wild. Yeah. Somebody took a video when I was sitting at the front desk with it like over with the cloth over my hand. And one of the front desk guys was joking around. He was like, where the hell is that ambulance? Like, did you guys tell him that he's white? What the hell's going on? I was like, oh, jeez. He was black. He said that.
Yeah, that one was pretty bad. All right, anybody got any questions? I haven't seen any questions lined up yet.
Tina asked a question at the very beginning about what are my thoughts about the Fit Model division. Do you guys want to talk about Fit Model?
Sure, let's talk Fit Model.
My biggest complaint with Fit Model is this. They put up a picture and said that this is the standard of Ashley Kaltwasser when she won the Bikini Olympia less than 10 years ago. She had fully etched abs, she had a tie-in, and she had cap delts. Yes, she was a higher body fat percentage than she is now, but that to me is completely ridiculous to say, okay, here's the standard. The literal Olympia winner from 10 years ago is now the standard for a new division. I feel like that's just sending so many mixed signals, and it's going to make it really hard for judges on the local level to judge that appropriately, because if they're looking at pictures of Ashley Kaltwasser when she won the Olympia and they're now judging a woman who's been in the gym for 3 months, it's like, I feel like it's going to be chaos. I feel like there's not enough direction. I love that it's, we're trying to be inclusive and bring more people into the sport, which is great, and then calling it Fit Model, but it's kind of just dumbed down bikini. It should just be called classic bikini. Like, hey, we're just going retro bikini. I mean,
classic bikini.
Right, because it's going back to the same posing as old school bikini. There's no bling on the suits. The suit coverage is what it was in the beginning, like the diaper coverage. and we're going to judge it like we judged an Olympian. I mean, it's just such a mixed signal. So that's how I feel about it.
There was some rumors flying around that they were going to do an equivalent in the men's division too.
I was wondering if they were going to do that. Be like,
I'm
all
sure they
right, I can get a
probably
pro card now.
Yeah.
I have to eat my words about a pro card being easy.
I think
Right.
I think Amy made the point. And again, I'm obviously not at all a female or competing in this realm, but I think that's literally the term of like why they explicitly called it like fit model and stuff, is to really remove like almost the bodybuilding-esque vibe of it. Like fitness, you know what I mean? It's still like I have to do something, but just fit. Oh, I want to be fit.
No.
You know, I want to be a model. Like, I think they're just like really trying to like as a money grab, unfortunately, just to be like in like, you know, which they should be inviting to everybody and inclusive as they can be. But I think that's like kind of it. They're just like, how can we make a class?
It's going to grab a lot of money.
Yeah, like from everybody, every fit mom at the gym, like let's go do a fit model show. You
Well,
know
and
what I mean?
fair enough, but make the standard then not an Olympian athlete. You know, then
Yeah.
put a picture of a 1995 women's shape magazine up there. You know, of a woman with like 20% body fat who just is in shape. I mean, don't put a literal Olympian, because that's so deceiving, because we all know what these people look like in real life.
Mhm.
And that standard is still extremely high. Like Ashley didn't win her first, that wasn't the first time she competed when she literally won an Olympia.
Right.
So I
Yeah,
feel
it's
like
pretty
that it's just what they're saying the category is and what they're showing the category
Mhm.
is just, it's going to just continue to lead into the same problem where we're judging the category and like more muscular. So we're just basically saying like, oh, we've been judging bikini incorrect all these years. Go
Mhm.
back to the standard of bikini from 10 years ago. And now we're going to call it fit model and make it a new division. Like it's very confusing messaging, I think, is
Yeah.
the bigger issue. You know, that they should have used somebody else other than a literal Olympia winner when they won the Olympia. How many more times can I say won the Olympia? You know, if you want to make it a model division, great. Like make it a model division. There are model searches that these categories exist. I mean, there's the whole division or whole leagues that are just these kind of model searches. So just make it more clear, like, so that we don't just end up now with another division in 5 years where we're like, oh, hey, this is like fit model.
Right. Well, they say that they're trying to make it more inclusive for people to feel welcome to come, participate in bodybuilding. But I mean, the sport itself couldn't be more inclusive. Like there are weight classes, there are entry levels for everybody. Like, even a guy, they say like, oh, well, they don't want to set a standard where you have to gain 5 pounds as a bikini competitor to compete a little more competitively with the other women. But it's, you got guys that are 180 pounds that get their pro card that have to put on 40 pounds to even get, relevant to compete anyways. Yep. So, I mean, I just don't really understand what they're looking for. It doesn't seem like it's going to be better for the fan watching because the shows are going to be longer. It's not going to be better for the competitors competing in those shows. It's not going to make it more easy to be mainstream when it goes from a 7-hour show to a 10-hour show. It's
right, because it's going to be bigger. Like that class is going to be bigger. Because more people can qualify. Like that's insane.
Yeah.
Well, and they're saying too, like, well, it's like, like the starter class, like then they can size up. Well, like that also
amateurs.
defeats the purpose. Yeah. And I mean, I look back at my last show, like the woman I lost to was probably close to 20% body fat. And it was her first show ever. And she won. So clearly they're judging, they were not judging, or rewarding a leaner physique at a local level. So I feel like at a local level, they're already kind of, I mean, that, like she looked like what they're saying the fit model should look like, which is entry level bikini, is local level bikini. So I just think the lines are going to be so blurred. And yes, you want it to be accessible and like no bling on the suits. Okay, so those no bling suits are already $200 from the manufacturers who are jumping all over making them. I mean, a posing suit is $200. So it's not like it's going to be all that much more accessible from a financial standpoint. You still have to enter the classes. Like and like I want the sport to succeed, and of course I want everybody who wants to do it. But at the same time, if all you're doing is letting people compete once and then like, well, you either stay here like you are, or you got to size up, to be the next category. And then what do? Keep sizing up, and we're going to keep judging it harsher and harsher and harsher. I mean, I don't know. It just seems like it's just blurred the lines of like what real bikini is and what fit model is, which is just starter bikini. I don't know. It just seems blurry.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I just, we'll see. I remember everybody was like very hesitant about men's physique when it came around, though, too. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens long term. I mean, I remember all the dudes were hating on men's physique when it started. Now it's a legit division.
Yeah. And honestly, it doesn't sound like entertaining. Not to sound rude, like it just doesn't sound entertaining. To have a lower level than bikini, whether that's size or shape or development of the body. Like it's in the name of the sport, bodybuilding. You start somewhere and you progress to the next level. And if you grow out of your category, like most of the men do, whether they like it or not, look at a lot of the classic guys. They're literally growing right out of their category where they're competitive, and then going into a category they might not be competitive in men's open,
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens and if there is an equivalent men's division. But it does seem like they're trying to get more women involved in the sport, which is not necessarily a bad thing. But I remember 20 years ago, it was just bodybuilding. That was it.
Yeah.
That was it. Like, it was, these guys were romanticizing the old national shows. Like, I remember going to see national shows 20 years ago. There might be 50 competitors at a national show. And now I think North Americans, they said there were 1,400 total. Something like that this year.
They should do the opposite for men. Have instead of starting at a smaller category and working your way up, there should be a dad bod where you start with a dad bod and go into the bodybuilding.
Well, but shows do that. Like there are a lot of shows that have the transformation category, for people who like it's just a bucket list item. Like they just want to do it to compete and get the experience. And it is an amazing experience. I mean, I would tell anybody who's even considering competing, like do it once. Like it's an amazing experience, and the camaraderie and the fun, and like maybe you'll get addicted to it. I just don't know that we need to water it down to get people to do that.
Yeah, I mean, the standards. I mean, let's be honest. The standards are lower at a local show.
Yes.
So if you want an entry level, go compete in a local show.
Yeah.
That's really that. It's really that simple.
Yeah, it's just interesting that they want like I don't know, an average look on a professional stage, I guess is what.
Right.
It's like why. Like really, like who wants to watch it? Ooh, who's the best average looking person? I don't know.
You know how it's going to go though, Chase. Like that's what they said.
It's going to start changing. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's what they said about men's physique. It's going to be a place where the average guy can compete, and now those guys are bigger than what bodybuilders used to be.
Those guys are huge.
They were getting too big. They had to put a weight cap on it.
Right. Yeah.
So that's going to happen. Whenever people are trying to compete at the highest level, they're going to try to get an edge.
Yeah. Well, and there are also so many more natural competitions too. If you like for women who might be intimidated thinking that they have to, do a lot of drugs, which let's be real, they probably do to be on the Olympia stage. There are natural competitions, to get that experience, to still have that fun. Like there's also, what is the one where the women wear like even the evening gowns, the WBFF, where they wear like basically like flamenco dancer bikinis and they do a ball gown round. I mean, there is options for everything in show sport. Let's put it that way. That is not, like you said, this is bodybuilding. This is not Victoria's Secret supermodel search.
I think they should start with bolstering up some of the female categories that aren't doing so well. As like there's great categories in figure. My wife's a figure pro, and it seems like it's so competitive, but it's just overlooked. It's not given the credit due to fit in that category for some of these girls too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I feel like figure has kind of all the categories is becoming less and less popular. And maybe that's because there's so many more entry level that the entry levels are not even being entry level anymore. Like, but I think it's sad because figure is such a beautiful physique.
Yeah. I feel like there's a spot for every physique. Like there really is for women. There's a spot. Like even fitness, it has its, you know,
Yeah.
they have the physical attributes, but they also have the gymnastic kind of background. I mean, there's something for everybody.
Yeah.
You know,
No dad bod division yet, though.
soon.
We'll get
Hey,
that.
but in all seriousness, like myself, like I'm coming from the background. I wasn't a smaller guy that grew into this. I was 300 pounds 3 times a recovering alcoholic. I had to go backwards to get to a spot where I could build upward. And there's really no welcoming area for me to come into the sport, you know, and to take a year just to sober up and drop 80 pounds so you could start that journey. You know, there was no entry level for me. So I don't know. I just kind of find it, again, not going to be very amusing to kind of watch.
Yeah, I think that'll be really telling, you know, to see what the numbers really are. And yes, it's the first year, but to see what the feedback is from the audience, because I think that's the other thing too. I mean, when you take somebody who has never been to a bodybuilding show and are trying to explain the different categories to them as it is, there's such subtle differences that it's hard for them to really, it just seems like there's so many competitors and they don't really get those differences. I also think that's why they're doing the nobling suits, to make it kind of stand out more, like, okay, well, this girl doesn't have a sparkly bikini, so she's different than the girl in the sparkly bikini. Like, I get that. You know, to make it a little more engaging for the audience. But if it just becomes, sorry, sirens going by me, you know, just endless competitors that all look the same, the audience is going to lose a lot of interest too. And then who's going on last? Well, I guess that does make me feel a little bit better. Like, I guess I don't have to be last on stage anymore as the tallest bikini competitor on earth, because there'll be a whole other division after me.
Yeah, I'm in the old guy division. I get to go first.
But if you're trying to make the sport a little bit more amusing too, you know, or maybe not amusing, but like if you're trying to improve the sport, there's other areas that are low hanging fruit. Like we always complain about the backgrounds, like the actual presentation of the sport itself, how long it takes, the organization of it, you know.
I do have a complaint, though. The shows are just getting too
Long.
fucking long. They're too long. Too long now.
Yeah.
There's a couple local shows here where they really pared down the divisions. They don't do everything, but they get everything done in the morning, finals and prejudging. And then they do the women in the afternoon, which I think is perfect, because women have hair and all this makeup and all the other stuff they need to do, so you don't have to get up at 2 a.m. to get ready for a show.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to kind of do morning and afternoon. I mean, just for so many reasons, like you said, Paul, and even like tanning. So it's not just so much chaos with, you know, all the competitors are trying to get tanned at the same time, or they're the people who don't know are like picking early slots when really those should be going to the men, and like it makes it more chaos than it needs to be. And then it's hard to spectate too. You know, if you're kind of just, that's, I think, the hard part too, when you don't really understand how the timing's going to go, and like you're hanging out backstage, but you have a friend who's competing, like you could have watched their class, but who knows how fast the show's going to move. Like it would make it a lot easier to watch like the men's or the women's. Yeah.
Completely off topic. I wanted to bring this up today, but have you guys seen Carlos Thomas Jr. lately?
Wild.
He's
Yeah.
crazy.
Look at this motherfucker.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Holy.
He's crazy.
Yeah.
It's nuts seeing him in person, like, because he's just like this guy here, but his arms are just massive, like hanging out of his shirt.
Yeah.
I know. I saw him at the Olympia, and I was like, holy crap,
Yeah.
man.
Like he is as wide as he is tall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's built like a fire hydrant.
That is crazy.
It looks like it should be like Photoshop. I know it's not, but like just like you took his quads and went whoop, and then you know like
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And took his waist and went, whoop.
yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Whoa.
Yeah, the dude is nuts.
Yeah.
I don't know that. When was the last time he competed?
Well, he did that guest posing almost like 9-10 months ago. I forget what show. Yeah, I can't remember what his last show was.
I swear I just saw, I think it was like Texas or something. I swear I just saw one of those media outlets posted him.
Well, he's going to be at the Arnold.
Oh, he's competing at the Arnold?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's one
Oh,
of the
cool.
guys.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was supposed to do it last year, but he got that in Brazil. He got that stomach issue or some digestive issue. We bumped into his father at the Arnold last year, and he's telling us his stomach was off.
Yeah, I was. Was that when I said that everybody talks about? Oh no, that was Breon's dad. I was talking about everybody says they know they know a pro that's competing, or there's my son's a bodybuilder, and he goes, well, my son's Breon. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, all right, yep, you're actually that guy. They do exist. Do we have any questions? I don't think anybody asked any questions.
You starred one.
You had somebody looking in the starred category. Curious about your next competition, Paul.
Oh yeah, somebody was asking about my next show. I am planning. We'll see if everything goes well. Then my goal is to do the Tampa Pro, which is the first week in August. Cool. There's only like 4 or 5, I think 4 pro shows with a Masters division. That's a Masters Olympia qualifier, and that's one of them. So,
does Jackie know when she's going to do her pro debut yet, Dave?
She originally wanted to consider doing like Texas Pro or the New York Pro of this upcoming year. But the timing, I think the timing still wouldn't be ideal for her. She just really wants to put on enough size so she can compete competitively,
Tell her to come do the Tampa with me.
Yeah, well, if you're gonna do it, we're probably gonna go and at least watch for sure.
Somebody, you guys, one of you has to come out and do the Mile High. It's in June.
Yeah,
do the Mile High Pro show as a warm-up show.
I'm gonna wait till October to do, or the next fall to do my next competition. I got a bone to pick with the New Englands. I want to win that show.
Is that a Bev Francis show? Is that who puts on that show?
Jake Cutler. Yeah.
I hear a lot of competitors with the Bev Francis ones. I feel like they seem to always have a bone to pick. If they don't do well at those shows, they have like vengeance against them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like so the Mile High has men's physique, women's bikini, and open masters. Okay. Mm-hmm. So that could be one I could do. I don't think it's a qualifier that I know of.
Oh, an Olympia qualifier? No, I thought it was, but maybe not.
It doesn't. I think it is for men's physique.
Okay. Yeah.
Paul enters physique. No, I'm just kidding.
What's that?
I said, yeah, we'll see Paul enter physique.
I could. I thought about switching to classic because it's 242 is the cutoff, and I was 250 at my last show. Although I'm 242 right now.
No.
I just I came back down to TRT because I just didn't see not being able to train the way I want to train with my shoulder and my finger being fucked up. I didn't see any reason to keep blasting. So I'm back.
Get a little deload, a little injury deload.
You know what? An amazing thing happened when I took 10 days off from the gym for this finger infection. When I did push on Friday, my shoulder didn't hurt.
You felt good. Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Who would have thought that taking time off could help an injury? Right?
Weird.
Like actual rest. Yes.
I mean, I never. Josh is asking me which 5 antibiotics I tried. I did start off with amoxicillin, then Bactrim, then Keflex,
Doxycycline,
and then I am on Lanazolid now. It's the one. Rack pulls that. And how much do you need for TRT at your size? I usually just run 300. My bodybuilding crews, like right now, I'm running 300 test, 200 master on, and 5 units of GH. That's my bodybuilding crews.
Do you have, when you go on some of the lower doses for your TRT, do you have any issues with estrogen at all, or is it after like
my estrogen has been fucking buried ever since my show?
Yeah. But like normally, other than when you buried it, like you ever have to worry about?
Usually most people, like when I work with clients, when they come down to cruise, you have to worry about estrogen rebound. I see a lot of guys like their estrogen will bounce up. Mm-hmm. I'm not really sure why, but it seems like there is an estrogen rebound. Probably from if you're running DHT derived PEDs alongside the test, and you just come down to test, you're losing that
suppression
and inhibition, aromatase inhibition effect. So, it just says you're on the. Next up is Perma IV and Vanca drip.
Yeah, vancomycin would have been the other top tier that they probably would have gone to. I'm surprised too, Josh, that they didn't do IV antibiotics. But I think the care that you received was completely inadequate and incompetent.
Josh said I need to report that gym to the health department.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're very clean in there. They're constantly cleaning. I see them, and they have wipes up everywhere. I just I don't know that they could have done anything more. I know the guys that own the gym, they care for it and keep it clean. It's a really well run facility. It's just one of those freak fucking things, man. It's like, you know, I saw somebody comment earlier about jujitsu. Like I can't tell you how many times I had ringworm at jujitsu. Just and everybody was getting staph infections all the time. Didn't matter how much they cleaned the mats.
Yeah, well, sweat. I mean, it's like a daycare, you know. Go ahead, Joel.
No, I was just gonna say. I mean, you have staph like all over your skin.
Yeah, skin's dirty.
They're not like the resistant kind, and they're not getting into through your your skin barrier. Right? So crazy.
Somebody's.
You ever do one about the 10 to 20 milligrams? I think they mean micrograms or milligrams.
No, I think it's ridiculous. Yeah, no, there are people.
Milligrams of SLU.
Yeah, no, there are people that are pushing the dose for some reason. I don't really see the point. I think it's pretty risky because, I mean, SLU is still a research chemical. Like, we don't know everything about it. We don't know this. Like, they're doing, the people that are playing around with that, they're doing. I mean, that's scary to me. So, like, I don't see the point when using 750 micrograms to 1500 micrograms is, people are saying that's been good enough for them. So what, like, how much more do you need? How much more fat loss help do you really need? What do you expect to happen? Like, just the fat just melt off of you? Like, I don't know. I don't see the point. So
you mean bodybuilders take crazy doses of things that they don't need to take crazy doses? Like, come on, man.
But still, like, this is something that we have no idea what could happen.
Well, if you're talking of a weekly dose, that might not be wild.
No, there are people doing that daily. Yeah.
I'm at like 1.5 milligram.
Yeah, that's what I do
daily.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, guys, I gotta head off. But
right,
it was a pleasure talking to all you. We'll say till next time, and I hope to see all of you hopefully at the Arnold. And
we'll be there.
We'll talk again soon, guys. In the meantime, enjoy Christmas and New Year's, and if you want, shoot me an invite for the next stream. If I can make it, we'll hop on. So
great.
Cool. Later, dude.
Until next time, everybody. Appreciate you.
Yeah, man. I tried to put together. Well, I'm working on a video on SLU, and I really couldn't find much research on it. There's nothing.
Yeah. There's not much.
What?
A bunch of
action, Chase. Like, what is the?
That's what I haven't had time to do a lot of research on this one, but a lot of people are asking about it. So can you give it? Yeah. Does anyone have a brief understanding of the action?
It somehow acts on like the estrogen receptor or something. Let me. I have notes on it somewhere. Let me see.
It has some sort of binding affinity to the estrogen receptor, but it doesn't alter your estrogen.
It mimics the effects of exercise by activating the estrogen-related receptor (ERR), the ERR alpha specifically. Which plays a role in regulating energy metabolism. It basically increases mitochondrial function, is what it does.
Yeah.
Is what I found, and then in the rat research that I saw, that when they did it, that rats, there was something like a 50% increase in endurance in rats when they gave them the stuff.
Yeah. So if that's the way it's working, to take a massive dose of it, I mean, you're going to be depleting so much ATP so rapidly if you're taking a huge bolus like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's yeah.
Right, here's what I had in my notes. Metabolic benefits. The compound shifts the metabolism towards increased fatty acid utilization, similar to the metabolic state during fasting or exercise, potentially offering benefits in conditions like obesity and type 2 diabetes.
Hmm.
It seems to increase mitochondrial function is what basically what it does.
Is-
It basically kicks your mitochondria into overdrive like you were lifting weights without basically sitting on your ass.
So is it through a different mechanism than NAD or MOTS-c would do that?
Well, MOTS-c mimics the actual peptide you get. MOTS-c's, I forget what it stands for, mitochondrial.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, they're different actions for sure. They kind of stack on each other to improve the mitochondrial function. But I guess the SLU too, like they were seeing in some rat studies that some of these rats were getting lipolysis just by sitting around doing nothing. They were being stagnant and not exercising, not being put through any rigor, and they were dropping body fat, which is probably what got everyone enticed.
Yeah, somebody said this rat study doses were pretty high.
Yeah, it'd be the equivalent of like 1 milligram per kilo for humans or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, so like 100 milligrams would be the human equivalent.
Taking so much.
Josh was asking me about reporting the gym where I contracted this at to the health department. I'm sure the infectious disease doctor, he said that he asked me where I got it from.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll note that. In fact, I know they do.
Yep. Community acquired. They want to know what's going on in the community.
Yep.
If I could mention one last thing quickly about the SLU too, like I'd be careful with some of the doses being too high. Just doing these mega doses too, because I know with like MOTS-c, if you go too high, you can have anaphylactic shock like right off the bat. So if you're starting your doses up at these mega doses compared to what people are experimenting with, I know Steve was talking about you got to be careful for anaphylactic shock. Just taking a huge dose. I know like MOTS-c, you get up to like 5 milligrams or more a shot. That can be very detrimental. You got to be careful. So titrate up.
Good info.
Yeah.
It's this. I'm looking at my notes, the stuff that I found. The one study that I found, and I can put the link in it on PubMed, that it was being used as a potential treatment for metabolic syndrome. But it's there really, honestly, like when I looked, there really wasn't a lot out there on it. There's a University of Florida did a study on it. It was done in 2023, I think. So it's relatively new. I'm looking here. Yeah, this is in 2022. Sorry. Yeah, I mean, it's just one study is all I could find, which would give me hesitation because there's never been any human trials. For all we know, it could be a fucking carcinogen.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. I know dudes are always looking for the next great thing. I mean, it could be perfectly safe. I'm not trying to scare everybody, but I'm just like, be careful with shit.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, like most of the people that I know, they're using under a gram or under a milligram. And so it's just kind of like, I don't know, the people doing 10 to 20 playing around with that. I don't see the point.
I mean, it's like retatrutide. I mean, that's a third generation GLP, and it's been, it's already been through phase 2 clinical trials. I mean, it's going to be a readily available pharmaceutically prescribed drug soon.
Yeah, it's going to be there. So, but yeah, this thing is like, it's new. It's very new. We don't know a whole lot about it.
All right. Well, it doesn't look like we have any more questions. I guess we'll cut this one short. Have happy holidays, everybody. Appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for your support. It means a lot. Really means a lot to me. And take care.